So let us start understanding what is digital forensic and how this course, which we are going to run for a month, will benefit you and what you will be getting at the end of this course. I think I can see a lot of message in WhatsApp group and also in YouTube and in Zoom chat box that what is the material that will be covered. Do you have an exam and how I can build my career? Definitely, I'm going to answer one by one. But let us understand the framework or the structure. Why do we need digital forensic? Then we will talk about what you will get during this course. Fine. So I'm Dr. Mohammed Ibrahim. I'm a founder of IB Mentorship Program and also CEO of Cyber Heals. I've been working in cybersecurity more than 25 years and especially focused on networking, firewall, virtualization, cloud. And also I've been training thousands of students over a decade. So far, more than 10,000 students from 40 different countries have benefited through my different training programs. I've been also coaching students in cybersecurity in other fields. And one of the best example you can see here, Mr. Mohammed Adil, who is also was going through such kind of programs 5 years back when he was doing when he was started his career as IT support engineer. Today he is a leading cybersecurity expert. He is a pen tester. He is a zero-day researcher. So the objective is to create leaders in cybersecurity, to create someone who can really add value to the company, to the country, and as Dr. Sultan Khalifa said, to the entire humanity by creating a positive impact through the knowledge which we have learned. So here are a few of the certifications which I've done from Cisco, VMware, ethical hacking. I'm a certified ethical hacker, and also I'm an instructor from EC Council, where I can run courses in cybersecurity, in ethical hacking, forensic, SOC, and so on. These are some of the companies and vendors I've worked across the globe, and also these are the places I've been visiting for various projects, conferences, and training. Start from US to Singapore, Malaysia, and a lot of places in Middle East. I've been traveling and attending, and also giving training and projects, delivering projects. So I've left my job almost a year back to create cybersecurity professionals. So I had this vision of creating 1 million cybersecurity professionals across the globe. And for the last 18 months, I could reach out to many students, and we have right now, as I said, 10,000 students from 40 different countries. And I'm sure each student, start referring or start, taking this mission, taking this message to his colleagues, his, students. Definitely, we can achieve a 1 million number, in the coming couple of years with all your support and the need in the market. Definitely, we'll be able to achieve. So let me just get into cyber attack, what's happening in cyber attack, because before we get into forensics, as you know that in India, I'm just putting that context based of India. So it's happening across global, but I just want to focus. In last year, May 2021, we had an attack in Air India, and they said more than 4.5 million customer data, sensitive data, it was believed to be compromised. And also talk about food industry like Domino and Visa, they're saying 180 million. We talk about banking sector. There is a news that Punjab National Bank, had a cyber attack, and more than 180 million customer data was left exposed for more than 7 months. So this gives an overview the world we are living in. The cyber attack surface has increased and everybody is exposed. Not only those companies, but we are talking about Mumbai power failure. They suspect cyber attack. It has happened last year. You go on Google about Mumbai's for failure, which was, they say, the major reason behind that is cyber attack. Even our Prime Minister Mr. Modi's Twitter account was hacked. Not only Indian Prime Minister, even we can talk about Australian Prime Minister, his account was hacked, and many celebrities and top government officials across the globe, they have frequently their social media account or their computer has been infected with social media attack. So this gives an idea, even if you are prime minister, if you are a president, or if you are a military, general, even if you have all those security personnel, top class security personnel, around surrounding you, giving you protections, having the top notch technologies, to make sure your data is secure. Still, there is a possibility that you can be hacked, your data can be exposed. If that is not the case, we should believe that Prime Minister Modi's account shouldn't have been hacked. The Australian Prime Minister account or his laptop shouldn't have been compromised with the virus. So that shows an indication that there is nothing called 100% secure. So everybody is prone to attack. Everyone is having this 0.001 possibility of cyber crime exposure to the cyber criminals. So this gives an indication that cyber security and also cyber forensics is going to play a major role, because if there is an incident, then immediately we need someone to come and investigate, find why it happened, so that they can make sure it doesn't repeat again. Okay? So I'm just trying to put that into context of today's topic. So much attack is happening, that means we need more to go and do analysis, right? Like malware analysis or cyber crime investigation. So these are some of the statistics. The most vulnerable states, starting from Maharashtra to Odisha, which states are ranking top. Okay? And this is another statistics which shows how our Indian map, you're seeing the Indian map, but how we are vulnerable. So the digital space we are talking about digital transformation in each and every technology, right? But the statistics shows how vulnerable our digital space is. Now we're talking about starting from rate of crime, starting from UP to Delhi, how it's increasing year by year, the percentage is increasing. So just to talk about some of the cyber forensic case news, which is there, which we used to hear, the case against actor Dilip, I think this was in March 2022. He talked about, don't harass cyber expert direct from Kerala High Court, because they were doing a forensic investigation, cyber forensic investigation against actor Dilip, where they were trying to gather information from his laptop, his mobile, and other digital assets. So if there are any incident happen, even high profile VIPs, celebrities, then right now more than CBI comes, cyber forensic is into action, because they can collect more information. And there is another one, 274 Haryana cops trying to crack cybercrime cases. So the government of India, the police department from each state are now would like to train their police personnel, intelligence in cyber crime. So they are creating these trainings and awareness program. And also we had conspiracy case against Dilip. Again, this is the news. And also there is something on meet the officer who cracked the bully boy case. So you would have recently known about this app which was talking about women and in a very bad light. So Mumbai Cyber Cell DCP Rashmi Karan Dikar, he has a message for those who believe that anonymity that the internet affords can protect them forever. He could able to go and crack the person who was releasing this app, who are misusing this app. Right? So this again shows that now police department have started gaining knowledge or become more intelligence that they can also go and crack and find out the people who are behind cyber crime and cyber attack. So even there is another case after 8 years of wait, Goa gets cyber forensic lab. So now each and every state, they are trying to create cyber forensic lab because any incident happen, they need to have this infrastructure where they can, research, is this attack happen in the memory, it's in the hard disk, or it is in the boot, kernel level. So they need forensic lab. Without that, they cannot, identify and track those, cyber criminals. There is another one, I'm just trying to say, techie post an editor of Face and Magazine blockmail models. Again, they used cyber forensic to arrest this guy. And even in Mumbai, cyber expert paid by Parambir Singh probe in data theft case. Okay. Even this is if this could fall into, officers who are not, who are unethical. Even they can misuse these opportunities, misuse this cybercrime. There is another case against one of the police officer where they found that he has been bribed to use cyber expert to target something on the data theft case. And also we all know about the recent, the last couple of months, maybe I think 6 months back, the Pegasus case where Supreme Court considered submission agrees to hear PILs on Feb 25 instead of Feb 23. This is a news, but this is about NSO group. So where they want to get into forensic and how they are able to get into journalists and politicians using this Pegasus software. So what I'm trying to say, all of these incidents which we hear from news is somewhere connected to cyber forensic. And there is very less cyber forensic experts available who can deal such kind of real-time cases. So with this context, with this background, let me get into what is digital forensic, what are the opportunities we have, and what I'm going to cover in the next 1 month, and how you can also, if you wish, you can get certified from some of the top cybersecurity vendors like EC Council, because I'm going to follow their syllabus, their structure, so that you can also learn from me, and also go, if you wish, you can do a lab, sign on digital forensic. And if you understood, write the exam, then you can pay to EC Council and write the exam and get certified in digital forensic. So my program is going to be completely free. I'm going to only talk about the concept and only going to expose you some of the lab practices. But at the end of the day, if you want to practice your own, then you need to book the lab in EC Council. You have to pay amount and book the lab. And if you want to write the exam, again, you have to pay and write the exam. Okay, but this training will be completely free. Okay, so with that introduction note, let's get into what I'm going to cover today. So I'm going to talk about the fundamental of computer forensics, right? And what are the different type of cyber crime, and how you can go and find out is there any incident happen? Is there anything compromised, like this cyber crime or not? The crime branch, police goes and investigate for any indicator of compromise. Is somebody left something where I can go, use that artifact to find the criminals? Same way we call it as here indicator of compromise. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the different type of digital evidence and what are the rules of evidence. Yeah, I have an evidence, but can I use this evidence to charge someone? So we need to understand that having evidence is okay, but is it something which I can make it solid or make it more, appropriate to use that to find someone or claim someone that is a cyber criminal or he is the one who committed this cyber crime? We will talk about that. And also we need to talk about forensic readiness planning and business continuity, because it also impacts the organizations. So we will talk about business continuity and also roles and responsibilities of, if you become a forensic investigator, So what is your roles and responsibility? How you should deal any cases? And finally, the most important case, because cyber forensic is related to the police, it is related to law and order, it is related to judiciary. That means you also should know the compliance and also the legal compliance and also the what are the law, cyber law related to this. So based on your country, you should also understand. So what is this penal code? What is the code in judiciary system which is related to cyber crime? So there is something called cyber law. So we need to understand so that you can take them and pursue them and put them, into the cases. I hope this is something which I'm going to clear about. And somebody is asking, am I going to give any certificate from? I said yes, we will be giving from Cyber Hills Academy, IBM Academy, that you have completed the course, but you need to pass some kind of a quiz program towards the end. Fine. So this is the model flow for today's, where I'm going to talk about that. So we'll start with, do you have any question before we start? Is it something which, I just want to ask you, do you have anything, is that objective is clear, or you have any doubts before we get into it? Someone asking, yeah, certification will be giving at the end of this course from our side. It's going to be live session. Yes, it's going to be live session. We'll have weekly ones. I'll try to cover the concept, but I'm going to share the entire document, which is a PDF. And also I'm going to share you how you can access the complete recorded training. So even if you miss the session, you'll be able to log in and watch the training. Okay, that is one. Secondly, you will get the documents from my side. And third, I will also tell you how you can do labs in cyber range or from the EC Council. Fine. Yeah, I'm going to run some kind of lab during this session, just to make sure that you just don't only learn theory, but we'll also do some lab, but it will be only on the core subject. All right. So the recording of the session will be available. We will share it in the WhatsApp group. Once it's completed, you can go on, or if you miss anything, you can watch. Right. So let me get into understanding computer forensic. So what is computer forensic? It's a methodological procedure and techniques where we want to, identify and gather information and also interpret and document and present evidence from any computer equipment. The computer equipment could be your PC, your laptop, it could be your server, it could be your tablet, it could be your mobile phone, anything, even it could be your USB stick or your external hard disk. Right? So we want to gather such information and discover evidence, and we want to make sure that the evidence we discover from all these computer assets is acceptable during a legal or administrative proceeding. Because forensic, the next step is what? To take you to the court, to file a case against you, right? So all the information I'm collecting during this forensic, if it is not going to help me for the next proceeding, then it becomes useless. So computer forensic is not just because I want to understand. No, I want to make sure that there is a legal and administrative proceeding can be followed after collecting and making this report. That's the first thing we need to understand about forensics. So what is the objective? As I said, identify and gather this, and preserve the evidence of cybercrime. If there is a cybercrime, I want to make sure that there is an evidence which I want to preserve it. Right? You might have been seen during any murder, any unwanted incident, the police personnel go and mark the the location. They immediately take over, they take control of that, the entire location and make sure that nobody gets in, right? Because they want to preserve the evidence of that incident which has happened, which we used to see in movies and news. Right? Same way in cyber crime, we want to make sure that the evidence are preserved, gathered and preserved. And also, we want to make sure that organizations do not have similar incident in future, because I will document, say why it has happened, because you had 1, 2, 3 vulnerability. You had, susceptible for social engineering. So we'll give them that idea so that they will not be again attacked. And if it requires some kind of a persecution, we will support the persecution of the perpetrator of an incident. That is also the objective of that. Why do we need? What do we need? I think it's very simple. We want to make sure that overall integrity and continued existence of IT system and the infrastructure within the organization is very important. So that's the first thing. Second one is we want to make sure that the factual evidence such that it proves the attacker's actions in court. Third one is track down the perpetrators. And fourth objective is to protect the organization's financial resources and valuable time. That is something which is very, very important. So when do you use computer forensic? So when you want to prepare for incident or identifying the actions needed for the incident response, or maybe you want to estimate what is the damage, or we want to minimize the damage to resources, to a corporate setup, or set up a security parameter and formulate security norms for ensuring forensic readiness. If something happens, how you can respond to that. We call this incident response. So that is why. And type of cyber crimes, we have two classifications. One is internal attack, external attack. Internal attack is something happening within your home, within your office, within your school, within your college, within your organization, within your state and country. It is something which is internal. Someone who knows about me, so he can easily target me. External attack is someone who doesn't like, as an organization. Maybe it could be our competitor, it could be someone who's not known to us, so they want to exploit the security loophole. Most of the time, it's about financial gain. They do for financial gain. So example of cyber crimes like espionage, data manipulation, DDoS attack, denial of service attack, cyber terrorism. We talk about cyber terrorism, also cyber warfare. Recently, we had between Russia and Ukraine. It's a awful example for cyber warfare. So Russia were using complete cyber warfare against Ukraine. Also, we have a lot of news about China, how they are engaging in cyber terrorism and cyber warfare. Right? So these are the examples. And impact of the cyber crime, what will happen if something happens? First of all, it will lose, or it can create the CAA, we call it confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information stored in the organization. So we might lose those data, and somebody can steal the sensitive data in our organization. And also it can put the entire business activity into disruption. Maybe there is no service, denial of service. And also it can bring reputational damage. Recently, there was an attack on Cisco. It happened in March, I think March or April. It was exposed in last month, in August. So it could bring down the image of company like Cisco when somebody could hack and take data, exploited data from that. They stole like hundreds of gigabits of data from Cisco's internal database. That means it can put the reputation of the company in a very bad light, right? Sometimes it also cause financial damages, losses. Like if I steal from bank, fintech companies, my e-commerce businesses, it could create a financial loss. And also don't underestimate that if you are a company, especially registered in Europe and US, you have strict compliance like GDPR, data loss prevention. So, GDPR is make sure that if you are aware storing or collecting customer data, I am responsible to protect those data. If somebody hacked and there is a data breach, that means as a company, I can be penalized. I can be taken to the court. There was an incident in Facebook. You all recollect last year. Mark Zuckerberg was, screwed in the U.S. Senate because Facebook data was accessed by a third-party app, and they exposed more than half. I don't know the exact number. I think around 500 million user database was leaked. Similarly, each company, when they are not able to protect the data, they can be taken to court. So there could be heavy penalties levied on a particular organization or particular company. So you cannot just say that I'm just collecting information, nobody can do anything with me. So they use forensic, right, to understand whether you are really having a security best practices, the data is really stored in the right way. So what is the type of evidences which we can use? The type of digital evidence, okay? There are evidence which is volatile, other one is non-volatile. What is the difference between them? Can anyone guess? Can anyone compare this in real-time scenario? What happens with the murder or something? Volatile and non-volatile? Volatile is something when it's lost when the device is powered off, or maybe when somebody is the criminal is not in the scene, then you cannot detect that. It is volatile, right? Non-volatile is something which is stored. Maybe when you go, you leave your fingerprint. Maybe you leave some artifacts where I can use. Same way in digital, we'll call about volatile. Once you power off the system, you will no more be able to see. Maybe when you restart, the logs are wiped out, right? But non-volatile is something where it is stored in the memory, in the hard disk, maybe in the BIOS. It could be in different places. So that is called non-volatile data. So what is the role of digital evidence? We want to identify the theft. We want to make sure there is information leakage, abuse of a system, and also we want to find out any email communication between suspect and conspirators. So digital evidence may assist in this matters for the investigator. So what are the sources of potential evidence? We have to look at user-created file like address book, your media like images, graphics, documents like Excel sheet, Word document presentation, and also internet bookmarks. These are user-created file. User-protected file like compressed file, zip file, you kept it. Maybe you have encrypted the entire document. Maybe you kept a password-protected file. Maybe you are hiding the file, so when I am coming and investigating, the file is not visible to the investigator. Also something called steganography, where I can mark, maybe within the photo, I can hide some data. We call it sometimes metadata, right? So I can also hide within the image a text file, steganography. So when you may be seeing a GIF image or JPEG image, but behind the image there is a data stored, which is only visible when I use the steganography tools. Okay, there is a user protected data, and computer created files like backup files, logs, right, cookies, history, and temporary files. So these are the potential evidence as a cyber forensic investigator, computer forensic investigator. You will go and look into it. Okay. So hard drive, thumb drive, your dongle, your mobile phone, all of them are part of potential evidence. Also handheld device, your modem, servers, printers. Again, also your removable media, scanner, telephones, your digital watch, right? Even GPS could be used to find the evidence, which location, where it happened, how it happened. Right? So let's get into rule of evidence. I'm just going to take another 10 minutes and then we'll have Q&A session. So rule of evidence is we need to understand the 5 basic rules that makes admissible in the court of law. Yes, I have collected everything, but can I produce that in front of the court? That's a big question mark, right? So first of all, whatever evidence we collect, it should be understandable. It should be clear and understandable to the judges, not to you and me. Maybe we know about how to read the memory, how to read. But what about the judge? He is non-technical guy, non-IT guy. He doesn't know about cybersecurity. So you need to make sure he is able to understand that. It should be in a presentable format. And also the evidence should be admissible. It should be related to the fact being proved. And it should be authentic. You should make sure it is real and also related to the incident. It should be reliable. I mean, there should not be any doubt about the authenticity or veracity of the evidence. And the 5th one is very important. It should be complete. You cannot say piecemeal, like, no, this is what I have done. I'm doing again another research. I'll bring those. No, it should be complete. It should, the evidence must prove the attacks are action is in her innocence, both ways, right? So can you please type this in chat box? It should be understandable, admissible, authentic, reliable, and complete. UAARC. This is the rule of evidence. Please keep it in your mind. We want to become tomorrow computer funds. I need to follow this. Okay, 5 basic rules. So best evidence rule, it says that the court only allows original evidence of document, photograph, and recording. Right? However, the duplicate can be accepted as evidence provided the court finds the party's reason for submitting the duplicate to be genuine. The principle underlying the best evidence rule is that the original evidence is considered as the best evidence. Yes, I can accept the duplicate, but I always give more weightage to the original photograph or original video or original data. So we are coming to the last section about the rules of evidence. For example, in federal rules in United States, the rules shall be construed to secure fairness in administration, elimination of unjustified expense and delay. Okay, this is the federal rule. So scientific working group of digital evidence, they use principle 1, accuracy. Principle 2, they seize and examine digital evidence. And they also create a standard operation procedure, SOP. Right? And so they review the SOPs. And the 4th one, they make sure that the data gathered and recorded in a scientific manner. Means they make sure there is a time slot, timestamp attached to it. Maybe it is stored in multiple places. So they make sure that the evidence are also scientifically proven. So they talk about the criteria. I'm not going to get into it. And also they have something called Association of Chief Police Officer, ACPO, Principles in Digital Evidence. If you are working in police department, then they use no action taken by law enforcement agency, unless the agent should change data held on a computer or storage media, which may be subsequently be relied upon the court. This is the first one. Second one, in exceptional circumstances where a person finds necessary to access original data held on a computer or storage media, the person must be competent to do so. The third one is independent third parties should be able to examine those data. 4th one is ensuring that the law and this principle are adhered to. So these are the principles they follow in police. So we talk about federal law, we talk about scientific group, we are talking about police. So each one has their own law and rules to follow in cybercrime. Okay. So what is forensic readiness? So I'll just skip it, because it's not important. We'll talk about that later on. So need for forensic investigator. We need a lot of people to work on this field because cybercrime investigation is coming up very demand. It's becoming very demandful. Forensic investigator by virtue of their skills and experience help organization and law enforcement agency to investigate and prosecute the perpetrator of cybercrime. That is one. Sound evidence handling. They need to know technically, if you are not experienced technically, then it might not be able to help you into, finding the evidence. And also incident handling and response. Effective incident handling and response is something which is very important. So that is the need of that. Roles and responsibility, they determine the extent of any damage, they recover the data, they maintain its integrity, the data integrity, and also they guide the officials carrying out the investigation. Right? And finally, they also update and organize the organization about various attacks. So what makes a good computer forensic investigator? He should be having interviewing skills to gather information. So he should be having good communication skill. Right? So he should be having excellent writing skill because it needs reports. So cyber investigator is not just only technical. You need to have communication skill, interpersonal skill, writing skill. Also, you need to have analytical mind because you need to investigate, take the data and try to analyze that. Right? So also you need to remain updated on methodologies, new methodologies and forensic technologies used. So you need to keep on updating yourself and you need to have the knowledge of laws relevant to the case. That is again very important. So some of the laws, computer forensic and legal compliance. So it should be admissible in court. We talk about Graham-Lee-Billy Act, GLBA. They have Federal Information Security Monitoring Act in 2014. They have some HIPAA, which is related to health compliance, health insurance, portability and accountability act. Also, we have PCI for credit card and banking, payment card industry data security standard. We have GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. We have Data Protection Act, and another one is called Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which is mainly for financial institutions. Right? This is about financial audit. So these are the different laws which is available. As a computer forensic guy, you should know about that. So each country has this law. United States, you can go and check so many laws. UK, Australia, Cybercrime Act, India Information Technology Act, ITA, Germany, Italy, Canada. So each country has a law, and there is a website which, as a cybercrime investigator, you need to go and read about it, understand it, so that you can really use those cybercrime evidences in the court. And you can relate to that law, cyber law. Right? So this is what we have seen overall. So we talked about computer forensic, we talked about what are the different digital evidence rules, and we also talked about what are the different roles and responsibility of forensic investigator. We also talked about legal compliance in computer forensic, and we talked about how this could be used or what are the skills used required for a cyber forensic investigator.